Welcome, viewers, to our live Facebook video from Five Rivers Pub, backed by Labrix. Big thanks to them for helping us out on this big match preview. We're here to talk about a few things. Over a pint on a Friday night. Friday night, we're live. This is the ugly inside. Let's talk Chelsea Saints on Tuesday, first of all. Send in your comments as well. Evening, Wiz, how you doing? And, well, let's start from the top again. Chelsea versus Saints. Last time out, we won 3-1. It was a fantastic performance. We were on the up, on the march to, well, I think that was before Christmas when we played down at Bridge. But it was certainly a catalyst at that time of the season. But we go to this game, they're top of the table, and we lost quite heavily as well last weekend. What have we got to do to erase those doubts on Tuesday night?
Well, we keep hearing from the television stations that we haven't beaten a top 6 team all season, and they love. I don't know what's wrong with these, BT Sports, Match of the Day. They seem to have something in against Saints, but it is important that we beat some of these top teams, because that's historically what gives us as fans immense pride, to knock over the big guns. What's wrong? I don't know. Maybe I sometimes wonder if we're physically strong enough and physically fit enough to last the distance. We certainly can match these teams in spells of play. I mean, we absolutely dominated Man United in the League Cup final. And we had I thought, a reasonable first half performance, certainly against City, but it's the physical side of it. Tottenham, we gave them a bloody good run for their money at White Hart Lane, but we just, ultimately, we got rolled over physically in the first half. Very nearly got a point, fair enough, but that's where I think it's going wrong. Physical and fitness.
Well, I mean, we were touching upon this before the live video, a bit of technical difficulties, but it looks like we've got a consistent squad at the moment. We're shouting for Caceres, and there's a comment coming from Jason, and there was an article by Nick earlier this week. When is Caceres going to play? I mean, we got fixture congestion coming up in the month of May, almost 2 games a week. Do you think, perhaps Tuesdays maybe too soon? He's been a bench warmer, let's face it.
No, I don't think any time's too soon for Caceres. I think that a guy that's played that experience and of international and top European football, we should be looking at. And I don't know what the money agreement is. Nobody knows what the money agreement is, but clearly that seems to be holding this situation back. I want to see him playing. I'd love to think that if we could hold on to Virgil, him and Virgil together, what a combination that could be.
And certainly, Caceres has played at top clubs, Juventus, Barcelona, but, the argument is he hasn't played competitively in over a year, I think it is. But, imagine that, Van Dijk and Caceres.
Yeah.
Let's say Caceres does come back next season. He's been warm on the bench for £70,000 a week, apparently.
Very strange situation. Doesn't have to play centre-half. A lad of his ability should be able to play anywhere across the back 5, if you want a back 5 or back 4, whichever system you want to fit him into. If he's that good, he'll fit into anything. And I want to see him, but I think hopefully most of the fans want to see him. Don't understand it.
Okay, so on to Chelsea then. Obviously, they lost at the weekend. They've got a cup semi-final coming up tomorrow. We don't know the outcome of that yet, but maybe they lose tomorrow, and that'd be 3 games in a row where Conte's lost. And they've looked good most of this season. They've got 4 or 5 players in the PFA Team of the Year.
Yeah, I think they're a great team, and they're rightfully at the top, and probably the best performance of the season at St Mary's, I would say. But something's gone. Sometimes when you're so close to the finishing line, it's hard. It's something abstract that you can't really see. Sometimes it's nerves. Sometimes it's just legs, as was the case with Tottenham last season. But sometimes at this stage of the season, something goes, and it's so hard to get over the line. They can see that, the trophy, but despite the 7 points that they were in front, it's now 4. And if they don't get a result against us, it could be 1.
Well, the title race could be blown open if we beat them down at the Bridge like we did last season. It was a fantastic performance.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we expecting from us? So, surely we've got to come out on Tuesday night and have a reaction, because in the manner that we lost against Man City last weekend, it was disappointing. We really didn't put up a fight. I think we only got 1 shot on target that entire game.
Yeah. Well, we showed some decent touches going forward first half, but second half, I really, well, for starters, I don't understand the substitutions. Everything needs to be together. For us to beat a top 6 team, everything needs to be together. The manager, the players, the fans, everything seems to be together. And it just like it was little bits and pieces last week. There were glimpses of really lovely flowing football, but there was also glimpses of big holes in defence, of crazy substitution decisions. It didn't all add up. And City were decent at the end of the day. City were really, really good, especially second half. So that's where it went wrong, really.
Well, I mean, it's been a bit of a helter-skelter season, and I think this is an important stage for us, because if we realistically want to finish,
it's an important stage for Claude.
Yeah,
because in my opinion, the League Cup is the only reason he's still in a job. Because if you look at the league form, it is dipped alarmingly, and I've been concerned about relegation up till we've hit the 7 points in that week, which was a bloody good week. Starting off with a very dodgy performance against Bournemouth, but we got 7 points in a week, and that's got us out of jail. But really, it's not impressive, and I guess a lot of Saints fans are looking next season now.
I mean, this is the thing, it had Puel not reached that cup final. There were already calls before that. I mean, at the start of February, just end of January, there were a lot of.
It's difficult. I think you've got to weigh up the fact that we've lost again last summer through no fault of his. We've lost our 3 top players. We've also lost top players at vital stages of the season to injury. So that's in his favour. But against that is the selection policy. Okay, you had Europa, but it just didn't. Sometimes when players did really well, like Shane Long was having a good little spell, and then he leaves him out. Classy had a good performance against the Baggies, scored a great goal, then he leaves him out. Why? I really, really don't get that. I really don't get that. And it's these inconsistencies that certainly pissed the players off, and I'd imagine they pissed a fair few fans off as well.
Well, yeah, I mean, and there was a bit of confusion last weekend when Shane Long looked like he got a bit of a kick to the back of the leg, but he called to the bench and said, "I've been kicked," but obviously Claude and the coaching staff misinterpreted that, and they brought him off straight away. Shane Long was only on the pitch for, 20 minutes?
22 minutes, yeah. Yeah, it's all in all, my gut feeling is that it's not gelling. It's not gelling, and you think I'm looking at next season. I'm thinking next season already, and this is a massive transfer window for us. It's so important that we hang on to our top players and that we build on things, because clearly the last few months, a few cup performances, but people are saying, "Oh well, hang on a minute, what are you moaning about? We're 9th." But Watford are breathing down our necks. Burnley ain't too far away. That shouldn't really, we should be miles in front of these teams.
And there was a report that I've seen by our friend Luke, who's just tuned in. Hi, Luke. He said that Puel could have about £100 million to spend in the summer. I mean, if you were the manager, are there any players that stick out for you, or maybe which positions need improvement?
Well, the crucial thing is that £100 million with Virgil in the team, or 100 million because Virgil's gone? That's the crucial thing. We need to look. I think as a club. Look, the other day, right, we had something on the internet. It was 5 years since we beat Peterborough 3-1 or 3-2, can't remember, in the league. And back then, we were on our way up from League One. I think everybody bought into the fact that the aim of the club was, in 5 years' time, to be back in the Premiership. Well, we got there a lot earlier than that, which is fantastic credit to the people running it, fantastic credit to the manager and the players who all worked tirelessly to get us there. But right now, where are we going for the next 5 years? Where are we going for the next 2 years? I think the club needs to be a little bit honest with the fans. There's been a lot of background negotiations. Fair enough, they can't talk about Lander Sports, they can't talk about any Chinese investment. That's fine, but where are we going? Where do they want to be in 2 years' time?
Well, there's an interesting comment coming from Lee. Hi, Lee. Puel doesn't have a plan B on how to break teams down, and I think we've seen that against the top 6 teams this season. We've only picked up 2 points, a point against Liverpool, and I think, was it a point against Arsenal?
No, because they scored in the last minute, but we did beat Arsenal in the League Cup.
Yeah, consolation.
In the League Cup. And we beat Liverpool, obviously, twice. But don't want to get too hung up on this top 6. I mean, let's look at the season as a whole, I think. Plan B, well, everyone said that about Pochettino, and he doesn't seem to have done too bad with Spurs, does he? It's very hard when you're playing. When City turned it on last week, they were hot, but we let them be hot. De Bruyne was absolutely running the show in midfield. I think it's about being. I guess maybe what he's on about is being proactive. That when you can see that happening, for instance, I would have chucked Classy on and just said, right, go and sit on De Bruyne. Don't let him have an inch. And even go back to the Bournemouth game when we took Ward-Prowse off and Jack Wilshere started running things for Bournemouth.
Yeah.
That was just so poor. That was just so poor, and everybody could see it. And that's what I mean about him not being, some of these substitution decisions have gone the wrong way. Well,
you just hit exactly the comment that Luke's come in and said he's not proactive in a manager, and his substitutions are bizarre. I mean, we've already just sort of said about that about Shane Long, the miscommunication. Is it a language barrier? Is he a good enough coach for Saints, or how far can he take us?
Well, we've been to Wembley. I suppose there is that, and that was a fantastic performance. 2 performances against Liverpool, so I'll give him credit for that. But some of these league performances have not been clever. I'm not convinced. I'm really not convinced by his management. So that's just me. I mean, what do you guys think out there? Are we for Claude or are we against? I just feel that given, I think he's kind of the players have fed up with the system. It was an incredibly boring system at the start of the season. So I guess that's one thing that's massively improved since the League Cup final, and the arrival of Gabbiadini has transformed players. We look to have a lot more movement in our team. Early doors, we were so predictable. But I don't know what you guys think out there.
Yeah, really? Well, there's a couple coming in here now, actually. Hi, everyone that's just tuning in. It looks like Luke has got another comment. And we've seen it over the last couple of weeks, especially against Bournemouth, especially against Man City at the weekend. James Ward-Prowse has been the balance in midfield. Whether he's playing on the right or in the centre, his work rate is clear to see when he's taken away. I mean, especially if you replace him with somebody like Buffal, who does not track back.
Don't get me started on Buffal.
But Buffal's a game changer in 5 minutes. He can turn the ball on the sixpence and strike a ball from about 30 yards out and have a one to go and win the game for us. But for the 85 minutes of the game, he's not putting the work. Putting the work in.
When I first saw Buffal, I thought we could have something quite special there, quite decent. He was a box of tricks, and saw him score a couple of goals early on in his Saints career. And I thought, he's potentially a match winner there, someone you can bring on, or someone who can win a tight match for you. But my goodness, since he's come back from that injury, it just doesn't seem to be a team player. He seems to be detached from the rest of the team. Still got his tricks, but in the League Cup final, he was trying things in the wrong areas, losing possession late in the game, when it's really hard when you lose possession up the pitch to get back and cover what United were doing going forward.
Yeah.
So disappointed, massively disappointed with Buffal, and for instance, the times he's brought him on recently, I would much rather have seen Josh Sims come on, because Josh Sims has got energy. He's got that low centre gravity that really really worries the hell out of defenders. And he's got a goal in him. He's got a goal in him. And he will work back for you.
Well, this is the thing. Ward-Prowse for me has been my most improved player this season. He's added goals from open play, and that's what we've been crying out for James Ward-Prowse. And he's a fantastic player, great attitude, great personality, and I think he's a testament to the squad. Whether he's playing deep, whether he's playing sort of in the number 10 or even on the right or even on the left, he's been a bit of a utility player this season.
Who's that?
James Ward-Prowse.
James Ward-Prowse, yeah. Come to his own a little bit the last few games, I think the last month and a bit. What is noticeable, I hear a lot of people criticising him, but what seems to be noticeable is when he leaves the pitch, when he gets substituted, our performance dips. I think that says all you need to know, really.
Okay, well, let's talk about the Chinese takeover then. We've briefly talked about it.
I'll have number 58.
Will we? Won't we? Is the saga really? I mean, it was off earlier this week, and now it's back on again.
Oh.
I mean, what does it mean for the football club if let's say for example it actually is back on, and we have some investment from overseas.
Wow.
It's apparently tabled at £200 million takeover, and I think it's 80% is going to be their stake in the club. So
I can understand about Katrina wanting to hold on to a little bit of stake, but once you relinquish control, that's it. These other guys are in charge. I don't like that situation. If someone comes in, I want them to buy the club outright, completely. And I'm not convinced with Lander Sports at all.
Do you think it'd be good for the club for our takeover? Because I mean, a key word for one of your mates. Ambition.
It's only good if the most absolute massive priority is that they have the best interests of the club at heart. So many English clubs have been taken over by foreign investment now. Why? What are they in it for? What are they in it for? Is it just a kudos thing? Have they got any actual feeling for the area, for the club, for football? Or is it just a look at me, I own a football club? Like a rich man in Britain might go down the road in his brand new Lamborghini. That's brand new Lamborghini. That sort of thing. Anyway, that sort of thing. Is it a status symbol? We need to know. I mean, years ago, I remember when who's the Coventry owners? Come on, someone. Who's the Coventry owners?
But I mean, Coventry's a good example where they've dropped out the top flight and just.
Well, whoever they are, they tried to buy into Saints, didn't they? And the ugly inside. And I remember Richard Chorley at the time did a bit of homework on this situation and said absolutely not. These people are in it to mug us. And unfortunately, that's exactly what's happened to
Sisu,
exactly. Sisu.
Thanks,
Sisu.
Paul. Thanks, Keith. Thanks, Kim.
Yeah. And at the time,
Hi, Jenny.
The ugly and Scissor at the time stood firmly against it and said no way. And these people were bad news, as has been proved. You look around. I mean, West Brom been taken over by Chinese.
Yep. Aston Villa.
Aston Villa been taken over, and the fans. The trouble is with supporters' expectations are, we're going to be signing top internationals, and it's not always the case. It's not always the case. I think you've got to look a bit deeper and see what they're actually aiming to bring to the club.
I mean, what would they change? I mean, this is the thing. We've been doing the Southampton way for many years in developing these youngsters, putting them into the first team development, and maybe taking players from taking players from obscurity like Mane, and then selling them on for 3 times their value.
We've done tremendously well at that. I just need to say hello to Kim Gregory there, who's Mark Adams' partner. Hello, Kim. How you doing? She came up with a Sisu comment, and Jenny, watching up in Norwich area, ooh are, and Keith Wise watching in Banbury. All change at Banbury. Right, back to the plot.
Yeah, well, I mean, what would change? I mean, do you think we'll see a change in the philosophy of our business model? I mean, we've been doing this for years. We've been selling off these players and developing them into top players.
Well, no, I think the ideal situation would be keep what's good, i.e. the youth system, and hopefully So I've always thought, you look at the north, you look at the south, look at London. There is room for a big club on the south coast. I don't want it to be that blue lot. I don't want it to be the other blue lot 50 miles to the east, or even the green lot 150 miles to the west. Or God forbid, that the team. What's that lot down? I can't remember who they're called.
Which way? East or west?
That west to the west.
To the west.
Some after some fruit or something. Anyway, no. Southampton needs to be the biggest club on the south coast. 32,000 is great. It's a massive improvement from what we had up the road at the Dell. But, it can be more. I'm always convinced that there are more supporters out there if you price it right. I'm always convinced it could, at the very minimum, be 40,000. I think that's one area we need to look to going forward.
Interesting comment from David. I think Katerina wants to keep a stake in the club and her father's legacy, but not sure if it's a good thing. All or nothing, I believe, but if she does not sell, will she back Claude and invest in new players?
Very difficult. Very difficult to know with Katrina. Once the cat's out the bag that you're selling, you have to say, is the commitment really there, or is it just a hard and fast business decision where they thought, do you know what, we've achieved everything we possibly can at this club and it's time for someone else to come in? And I think that might be the truth.
Actually, I remember talking to, I think it was Andy. Hi Andy, if you're watching. Speaking to him after the Man City game. We're fed up of these other clubs coming up to us and patronising us. Oh yeah, well done Southampton, you're a great club. Oh, thank you for selling us your best players. When is that going to change?
Yeah. Hello to Paul Shears in Upper Shirley. It needs to change. That's all about policy, and that's what I was on about earlier about a statement of intent. To show the fans that ambition that we all crave, and to say, right, this is where we want something we can all get behind. We're always going to support the club. Look, doesn't matter what. Let's face it, Saints was still getting 20,000 plus most of the time in League One even. So, the fans are going to be there. They're going to always support the club.
Okay, two comments coming here from Wiz and Mike. First of all, match tickets are too dear. Obviously, a lot of us that are season ticket holders are on a deadline until the first weekend of May to renew our season tickets. I think that's far too early to actually renew, in my opinion. But as far as we're concerned, 20 is plenty, and we will be subsidised another £10 when we head to Middlesbrough in 3 weeks' time.
Well, that's good. It's good news. Anything like that is good news. But it's something that probably is not so much a Southampton thing, but is a national thing. I think pressure on the powers that be made the away tickets came down to £30. There now needs to be a national campaign to get the home tickets down as much as possible. Because without fans, let's face it, and the Premiership is pretty tame. The atmosphere's. I say this, I was watching Europa last night and I was watching United Anderlecht. It wasn't a bad game, but the atmosphere, all the Anderlecht fans was making all the noise, to be honest. So I turned over, I watched Besiktas. All right, no away fans because of the trouble, but what a din. And the difference between English football has become so... All you see, like someone goes to take a corner and there's all these goons taking pictures. Watch the bloody game.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is the Premier League is global now. We have.
Don't we know it?
I mean, especially speaking to fans after the game, we had a few people coming over to watch Yoshida, especially.
Yeah.
We had a few people coming over to watch Gabbiadini, especially. All disappointed, obviously, with the match against Man City. But
there's nothing wrong with it being global if the people have got passion. Where's the bloody passion?
Okay, on to...
Sorry, we're drifting, guys.
On to Mike's question then.
Is working.
If safe standing in the Premiership becomes a reality, what would the new capacity be?
What, for Saints? Yeah. Good shout. I don't know. I suppose there wouldn't be much difference, really. I think the ground needs to get bigger because I guess what they do is consider the size of the seat to be one space for an adult in the ground. So I suppose the ground would have to get bigger. The obvious thing I believe is to build a tier above the Northern and probably stick the away fans up there. Who knows?
Oh, this is a question for you lot out there that are watching. A lot of you may be Northern season ticket holders, and obviously you lot all stand. Would you be happy for that? Would you be happy for an extra few thousand?
Anyway,
yeah, well, that's what I mean. Take away the seats, give it safe standing, give them rails. Would you lot be happy with safe standing in the Northern? Okay, so let's have a chat about something else that's been in the news this week. Then, it's gone blank. We're live. Love to stand again. Yeah.
Thank you, Paul. Paul Shears.
Would you welcome a change of manager next season or stick with well?
My gut feeling says change of manager.
Really?
Yeah, that is, and I've been feeling that way for quite a long time. I've wanted to give him a chance, really have, and you feel for him with the injuries and everything like that. But
it's been frustrating to watch his management at times this season, especially in the first half, you could say, before Christmas. No consistency, always tinkering with the team.
I mean, yeah, and his interviews are bit such that, okay, if that's what he's projecting, you don't know what he's going to get. You'd only know if you were actually in the change room before a game. But if the way that he interviews is any kind of indication of how he gives his team talks, the players would be asleep before they got changed, to be honest. So I'm looking for passion.
Yeah.
I like the fact, I'll give him credit that when we score he celebrates now. And he gets excited, and he's clearly passionate. He clearly works hard. But my gut feeling is, I want to see someone like what's his name? Bilic. Yeah, Bilic. Slaven Bilic. Someone who stands out there and lives every moment of the game. You know, feels it.
Yeah, there's a couple of comments coming in now. Actually, somebody said that they'd welcome Marco Silva from Hull. Also, another comment from Paul. I'd welcome Gary Monk if we were looking.
Monk, yeah, it's a good shout. He's done very, very well. Very well.
All right, let's wrap things up then. We've been on it for about half an hour. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram.
We haven't asked the result at Chelsea yet, have we?
No. Let's finish off with the prediction then, Clive. Chelsea Tuesday. What's your prediction? How do you think it's going to go?
I think we're going to put up a good fight. I think Gabby's going to get a goal, but ultimately, I think Chelsea are a little bit too strong physically. The semi-final could have a big bearing on it, you know. The semi-final could have a big bearing,
and it could leave us in a good. Maybe a good situation for the following Saturday against Hull. I mean, we've got to look at that game and say, hey, this is a winnable game.
2-1 Saints, says Jason. I hope you're right, mate. I really do. We've had better seasons, yeah. Well, I've had a bad season. Have we had a bad season?
Have we had that bad a season?
I'm afraid we have. I can't help coming away from Wembley was a fantastic performance. But we had that game in the bag. Why have we lost it? Why have we got kicked out of Europe? Nah, we haven't had a great season. Thankfully, we've got our head above water. We haven't got to worry about relegation. But I think we need to start planning for next season now.
Well, it's been one of those. Where we spoke at the beginning of the season, you'd take a cup final, but finish 15th. We've been to a cup final, but we'll finish in the top half, probably.
I hope so. I hope so. We need to win those. Okay, it'd be great to beat one of those top 6 teams, but the other 3 games that are not against top 6 teams, we need to get points out of. You know, to at least get near to 50 points. Top half would be nice. 8th would be fantastic. You know.
Well, I mean, we've got to look at the next few games, and realistically, a target will be 10 points from the next few games.
David, I think we're just coasting to the end of the season, getting ready for next season and hope for new signings. think more than anything, David, we hope we keep the good ones that we've got. Would you take Eddie Howe? Yes, but I don't think he'd ever come here. I think he's Bournemouth through and through. I think, not sure where he'd go. Maybe an Arsenal. He might go to an Arsenal, but I don't think he'd come to Southampton now. There was a time when he would have, I think, but I think he might even see that as a sideways step. What does that say about Saints, really?
Well, I mean, next season we're going to have 3 South Coast teams in the Premier League. Brighton nearly finished playing. They were 2-0 down last time I checked. We can't actually see. We've got cricket and the snooker on, of all things. But yeah.
Listen, a big shout out here to the Five Rivers team who have allowed us in here tonight and apparently are keen to promote the ugly inside in future. You know, get down here. Yeah. There's an excellent choice of beers. There's about how many screens? There's about half a dozen sports screens, all showing about 4 different sports at the moment. So it's a proper sports pub. It's they put a lot of investment into it, clearly.
Yeah, fantastic pub. If you guys haven't already checked it out, it's on the site of the old Dungeon Club in Beavers Valley, less than about a 10-minute walk to the ground. So,
well, I'm quite relieved because I don't have to self-harm tonight, which was always a bit of a. If you ever remember the Dungeon, it was a little. Dungeon is quite a posh word for this place, actually, as it was. But it's still got Dungeon above the door, hasn't it?
Yeah.
But is that going to change soon?
I think it's there for a bit of nostalgia.
Okay.
For now.
Bit of nostalgia.
But yeah, big plans for this place. They opened up a pool room and a downstairs restaurant seating area. So this place is really busy on match days. Not a lot of people have heard about it. So hopefully you guys watching the video have heard about Five Rivers now. And well, let's wrap things up then. Finally.
Sorry. We do bang on, don't we?
We do bang on, but. Let's thank you all for tuning in, sending in your questions. Hopefully you've taken this with a bit of salt as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you for watching. Follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and yeah, thanks for watching.
Okay, all the best, guys.